Hello everybody, Scot-sword here, and welcome back to another video. I wasn't planning to make a video about the results from Game Week 3. I was going to wait until Game Week 4, but I saw the tables being released today, and I just couldn't not do it. So here we are. So I'll make this a quick video because I am quite tired. It's been a little bit of a long weekend and a long week with streaming and just real life stuff, but I'll try and make this as succinct as possible, and I really hope OBS is not crackling, with my microphone. It's saying my volume's too loud, so I do apologise if I've just moved the mic a little bit further away from my mouth. You can turn the volume up if need be. Anywho, let's talk about Game Week 3 of the League of Dracula. Now, obviously, I had to premise this video by saying because of scheduling and people have all got their own work and family commitments and goodness what else. Some players have played more games, some players have played fewer. Everyone's kind of organising it as they can. We've got 2 more weeks left of Game Week 3. What am I talking about? Oh, the first stage. You can tell I'm tired. We've got 2 weeks left of the first stage. So some players have got 3 matches. Most people have got 3 or 4 matches left. You can see there's some people who've played quite a lot of games in advance. So it's kind of skewing things a bit, but we can still hypothesize as much as we can and talk about things that we do know. So just in case you're a random person clicking on this video, this is our League of Dracula, Fury of Dracula World Championship. Played for the digital edition. There's a link in the description to the Discord, so feel free to join there. You can talk to all our amazing competitors, and if you're interested in competing, you'll be able to sign up for the next tournament, which will hopefully take place in the spring. Not sure exactly what the format will be for that, but we can work out near the time. Anywho, so everyone's playing within their 4 groups here. 4 groups of 5. Everyone has to play 2 matches against everybody. Once as Hunters, once as Dracula. The top player of the group goes automatically into the final League of 6. And once the first stage is done, they can put their feet up for a month and watch everybody else suffer. The second and third place players will go through into the second stage, where they'll be distributed into 2 groups of 4. Basically, second place player from Group A and Group B, and the third place player from Group C and Group D. That makes 1 group. And then the third place from A and B, and the second place player from C and D, they become another group. They will play amongst each other twice, so it's 6 more matches total for each player, and the top player from each group goes through to the final League of 6 as well. So yeah, out of the second stage, out of those 8 players, only 2 are getting through. And before the tournament started, I did a preview video, and I did point out that there's quite a lot of players who've got a lot of tournament experience, and a lot of newcomers as well, obviously, but it's a good about 50-50 split. In the video I did last week, reviewing all the results, I said that the seeded players weren't doing too well. 3 of the 4 groups were being led by players who were newcomers, and that situation hasn't changed. Pizza Wizard from Group B is the only player who is a top seeded player, and reigning US champion, I might add, top of his group. But Captain Gyro, Edward Scissorhands, and Wakazik, who are leading Group A, Group C, and Group D respectively, have never played in tournaments before. So yeah, my prediction when I said, yeah, I think there'll be at least 1 player in the final league who is a newcomer, yeah, that prediction looks a little bit underestimated, doesn't it? Anyway, so I'm not going to go through all the results, obviously, because there'd be far too many and I'll get stuff wrong, but we'll talk about the groups very briefly. So Group A, Captain Gyro still at the top, smashing it, 5 wins out of 5, so he only had 1 game this week, won that one, to top of the group. Randiv, though, good performances this week. I think Randiv's won 2 games this week. I think with the numbers, I think that's right. IDS between them is extremely close as well. If you don't know, IDS is our secondary scoring system. The wins are what is the most important, but IDS is a secondary system to break ties. So if Randiv wins, well, we'll have to see. They both played the same number of games, so Gyro has got the advantage, but Randiv and Gyro have to play again in Game Week 5. So obviously, if I do a video next week, then we might, we'll have to see what the permutations are. But that game could be vital. If they both keep winning, then that game could be, the clincher in terms of they'll get the win over their opponent, and the IDS swing might flip in their favor. It's very close. Yeah, both playing very well. The only defeat that Randiv had was against Gyro. So we'll see, there'll be a grudge match when they play against each other again. Gyro will be hunters for that one. So we'll have to see how that works out. Within the rest of the group, it's going to be, I think by the looks of it, the way that group is just sort of now just naturally happened with players playing more games or whatever. It looks like the battle between first and second for Captain, Gyro and Randiv. I think the others are not going to be in contention for first place. They're just a little bit too far behind. Anything can happen, obviously, if Spencer, or especially Spencer, because he's got 2 games in hand over them. But we'll need still quite a big swing, I think. But we'll have to see. So yeah, Spencer got 2 games in hand, so could still push Randiv quite close. Will be one if Spencer wins both games in hand. Will be 1 win behind Randiv, but the IDS score will probably be inferior. So they'll need a swing in IDS as well to make that one work. I think Burke Marley has to play Spencer. They're supposed to be played this week, but they couldn't manage it for some reason. So again, if Burke Marley beats Spencer, then they'll be equal and the IDS will close up. So I think it's a very close battle there. I think this is probably the one group where the battle for first place looks the toughest. There's 2 clear players who look very good for first place at the moment. We'll see what happens. Spencer has the advantage for third place just because he's played fewer games, and the IDS is a little bit superior to Burke Marley. Worm Talon, unfortunately, still hasn't got a win yet, but it's a tough league, very tough opponents. But Worm Talon has a lot of power here. If Worm Talon wins all 3 games in a row, could still sneak into third, but then we'll need Spencer and Burke Marley to lose their games in hand as well. But not only that, but Worm Talon almost beat Spencer, and I didn't see the match. I don't think I saw the match between Gyro and Worm Talon recently, or maybe I did, but I can't remember. But Gyro only won with 5 HP as Dracula, so Worm Talon managed to do 10 damage to him. I don't know how. I don't know if it was combat or C damage or both or what. I'm not sure. But Worm Talon's coming quite close. If you look at the IDS, minus 44, but divided by 5, it's only like 8 IDS more or less lost per game, which is still respectable. Picking up quite a lot of damage on Dracula if he's hunters, or picking up quite a lot of influence when he's playing as Dracula. So Worm Talon could definitely get a win here. And in fact, that Worm Talon has to play. I think he's played both games against Captain Gyro, but he has to play against the others at least once. Yeah, only once. So Worm Talon has a lot of power here. If he can get a couple of wins, that might really then influence who does actually finish, first, second, third. Plus any IDS he can accumulate. Same with all the players who are sort of towards the bottom of their groups. Even if they're potentially out of contention, not mathematically, but just in terms of with the run of form, they might not be able to qualify. They could still have quite a big say on who does actually finish in all the different positions. And because first place, second place, third place have very different outcomes, that just a little bit of IDS or just that one win could be all the difference. So yeah, definitely, it's no dud games playing against Worm Talon. Worm Talon will be looking to get first win, obviously, but then the fact that any IDS could be very influential later on. We'll have to see how that pans out. In Group B, Pizza Wizard at the top, 4 wins out of 4. He's got games in hand on the players below him, which is very advantageous. That's the position you want to be in. You want to have games in hand but still be ahead. So, unless I'm mistaken, Pizza Wizard only has to win 2 of his remaining 4 games. Because the maximum number of wins that Humperdinck can get is now 5. Pirate Joe has played Ariel tonight, but it's not including these results, because these results were posted a little bit earlier, so I don't know what happened in that game. But the best case scenario for Pirate Joe is, if he wins his remaining 3 games, he'll be up to 5 wins as well. So, Pizza Wizard could win only 1 of his remaining games, and the IDS might be enough, but just to be safe, you're saying 2 wins out of 4, and you could even do it where he's got to play both Humperdinck and Pirate Joe. But even if Pizza Wizard lost those 2 games, he might be able to win the other 2, and that would be enough. So, Pizza Wizard's in a great position here. Humperdinck's been playing well, playing really well on Hunters. Dracula games are sort of been a bit difficult to come by. Race trains have negative IDS, but just the way it works. The victories might be a little bit narrower. The defeats on Dracula might have been, I think, he had 2 defeats on Dracula, which were both minus 15 IDS. So it's just pushing the IDS into the negative, which works in the favour for Pirate Joe, because Pirate Joe did win that game earlier today. Then Pirate Joe is now in second, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the result is, so I won't say for certain. I don't know it. So yeah, Pirate Joe will be happy after a bit of a sluggish start. Is coming back into this, is in contention for second place now. Met King hasn't been able to play recently, but will be able to fulfill his remaining games. Again, Met King's got a lot of catching up to do, but if Met King can get a bit of run of form going, and he has a good record, he's got 2 wins out of his first 3, and decent IDS as well, just from 3 games. So very much in contention still for qualification, definitely. It's been a little bit of a rough tournament for Ariel. Maybe a little bit out of practice, but still, decent player. And again, if he's played Pirate Joe now, Ariel's only got 1 game left. I think that's against Met King actually. But then again, there's a lot of weight there, because if Ariel can beat Met King, that might stop Met King from qualifying, just depending on how the other games go. So we'll have to see. There's a lot of uncertainty here, but at the moment, Peter Wizard looks very good for first place. So it's the battle between potentially the other the second, third, and fourth place right now. Humperdinck, Pirate Joe, and Met King for second and third. And it'll be very interesting to see how that all pans out. Group C, Edward Scissorhands just came out of nowhere about, I don't know, 2 months ago, I think, more or less, and it's just been absolutely bossing it. 5 wins out of 5, just like Captain Gyro. 48 IDS as well, exactly the same. That's just, you can't make it up. Very good win against Fangs of Fire. Very astute. Just the type of hunter play that I like. Just take it easy, bit by bit. Don't panic. Just slowly eke out advantages and trap Dracula. It's very well played on his part. Also beat Mr. Green. And obviously Mr. Green's no slouch either, by the way. I didn't see that game, unfortunately, but I heard about it. So yeah, he's very, very good. In a very, very good position here. Very scary player. What's the situation with him? He only needs 1 more win. Because he's got 2 games in hand over JB Philly. The most that Philly can get to is 5 wins. So Edward only needs 1 more win to surpass that. Same with Fangs of Fire, maximum number of wins 5. Mr. Green, maximum number of wins 5. So Edward just has to win 1 game, and that's it. He's through. He's through to 5. So he's basically got 1 foot in the final league, maybe 1.5 foot. It's almost there, almost there. Absolute scenes. We had it last week where JB Philly beat Mr. Green twice, and that was like, oh my days, what is going on here? Then this week, Fangs of Fire does the double over JB Philly. So that brought Fangs of Fire right into contention for third place. 2 wins, absolutely fantastic stuff. Mr. Green still has the advantage here, got the game in hand and the superior IDS. But Mr. Green has to play Edward. Now, if Edward knows he's already through, then maybe might not play, as intensively as necessary, but maybe might do, because it might be good practice for the final league, which is what I would do. So he has to play that. Both Fangs of Fire and Mr. Green have to both play Reckoner. Who's had a bit of a difficult time so far, but again, gaining experience. So then that's the issue. If we're playing newer players like that towards the end, they're gaining experience, and they might then cause an upset. But they both have to play Reckoner. So then you're looking at the other games. Fangs of Fire doesn't have to play Edward Scissorhands anymore. Mr. Green does, and Edward Scissorhands has to play JB Philly as well. So not only I think Edward Scissorhands has to play Reckoner as well, I think. So not only does Edward Scissorhands only need 1 win, Edward Scissorhands has now a lot of power in terms of who's going to finish second and third. He might be both JB Philly and Mr. Green, who knows, given the form he's been in. I wouldn't put it past him. But, if one of them could beat Edward Scissorhands and the other one doesn't, then that changes everything. I think just because of the experience that Mr. Green has, even though he's 4th at the moment, he's got 2 games in hand, he's got a decent IDS score. I still would say the advantage is with him a little bit, but at the same time, being in JB Philly's position is still quite good. He's played all his games apart from one more, which is against Edward Scissorhands, which is going to be very difficult. But he's done his job, and you have to wait for the others to try to catch up. So it just depends on how you look at it. This is very exciting. The battle between these three for second and third again could just come down to one win or just a little bit of IDS. So it's going to be very. This group has been the gift that has kept on giving, in terms of just crazy, fantastic games to watch, and just results that you just wouldn't expect. But then it really highlights sort of the quality of players that we've got in the tournament now, that there's no easy games. You can't walk in, even looking at the win record of the first 3 or 4 matches, there's no walkover games anymore. So it's just been fantastic. And then you see now you got these newer players really taking it to someone like Mr. Green, who's been here in the community for longer than I have been, and I rate Mr. Green extremely highly. So if someone like Edward Scissorhands or Philly, for example, is beating Mr. Green, then these are players we need to take note of. Very impressive stuff. And then and also the other thing is Fangs of Fire and Mr. Green are going to play this week. I don't know if I said that already. So that's that's a very important match. If Mr. Green can get the win there, not only will be level on wins with Fangs of Fire having played a game less, or game fewer rather, but his IDS will be much superior, so that really allows him to kick on. If Fangs of Fire is able to win, then it puts a lot of pressure onto Mr. Green. It will improve Fangs' IDS quite a bit, and then he gets 2 wins ahead of Mr. Green, even though he's played a game more. So yeah, that's just going to be vital. I don't know which way round are they playing? I can't remember the fixture. I can't remember if it's Fangs of Fire is Dracula or Mr. Green. I think Mr. Green is Dracula. I think. But I'm not certain. Don't quote me on that. I think that's the case. Anyway, Group D. The one at the beginning, which I thought was going to be the best group. They've all been great groups, to be honest, but which is really just going to show the quality of the competition. But the fact you had, Quincy, very extremely, very. I'm trying to say very and extremely in the same sentence. That's not going to work. An extremely experienced player. There we go. Or incredibly experienced. There we go. Werecraft is also another player I rate very highly, based upon our previous battles. And then Wakazik, another newcomer who's just taken it by storm. That only loss was against Quincy, and it was a very, very minimal IDS loss, so his IDS has not been affected. He beat Quincy this week. If you want to see it, there's a live stream on my channel. Go into the live section, go into the live section of my channel, and you'll find it there. It's a very good game. Really pushed Quincy to the limit in terms of the strategy that he employed. Very well played. So Wakazik, very similar to Edward Scissorhands. He's got 1 foot in the final already. He's played a lot of games in advance. Quincy cannot catch Wakazik into first place, if I've done the maths correctly. Quincy only has 3 games left. So he can win all 3. But he's not playing Wakazik, so because he's played both games already. So the best that Quincy can do is to win all 3 games and get maximum IDS out of all of them. So that would be 45 more IDS. So that'd put him on 36 IDS. So even if he'd have the same number of wins as Wakazik, his IDS would be inferior. So regardless of what happens in Wakazik's final game against Werecraft, Wakazik's always going to finish above Quincy. I think 26. Yeah. Wakazik's always going to finish above Quincy. So Quincy can't get into first place right now. But the battle for second and third is really hotting up. They're both, Werecraft, 2 wins this week. Very well played on his part. The IDS is in his advantage as well. Quincy's had some very good wins, but the wins were narrow for IDS. And he had one quite heavy defeat as Dracula, which kind of pushed his IDS into the negative. But Werecraft too, he beat Trayman, but it was only by 4 HP. Only got 4 IDS out of it. I didn't see the game. I don't know how that damage was inflicted, but yeah, that was very, very close. Trayman did very well to push Werecraft that far. So if I've done the math correctly, basically, Werecraft has 2 games and then is going to play Wakazik. That's going to be the last game, probably, of the whole first stage. It's going to get played around the 8th or 9th of October, more or less. So best case scenario, again, there's a lot of things that can happen, but best case scenario for Werecraft is he wins his 2 other games with maximum IDS. So he'd be 1 win behind Kazakh, going to that final game with 48 IDS. So he'd be 19 behind. 19? Yeah, 19 behind. Obviously, because Werecraft and Wakazik will play against each other, if Werecraft wins, he would gain IDS and Wakazik would actually lose IDS. So if I've done the maths correctly, if Werecraft wins both of his matches with 15 IDS, then even if Wakazik loses the game against Werecraft, he only has to get 6 influence or 4 influence and then get the modifier for surviving until the 4th week. Either of those would be enough. Naturally, if Werecraft does not win his other 2 games with maximum IDS, then maybe the result, or between Wakazik and Werecraft won't even matter in terms of IDS. It might matter though for Werecraft in terms of does he need the win to get above Quincy? But depending on how Quincy's other games go, but that's the situation. Werecraft and Quincy have to play each other. So naturally, whoever wins out of that is probably in pole position for 2nd place, but then IDS might then, cause some issues. Even if Quincy wins, the IDS would probably still be inferior, so I'm not quite certain. There's a lot of permutations to this. So yeah, I would say, it's not impossible, but it's quite likely that when Wakazik plays Werecraft, Wakazik might already just be guaranteed 1st place just because of the IDS difference. But Werecraft might well need the win to guarantee being above Quincy. We'll have to see. It all depends on how it plays out. Obviously, Werecraft is going to try and play as well as he can in the remaining, 3 games, and might well overturn this IDS deficit. So we'll have to see how it goes. Ondra isn't out of it either. I think Ondra has to play. No, Ondra played Quincy. I should have written this down. I can't remember. But Ondra's not out of it yet either. But it's just because he's played 1 game more than Werecraft and Quincy, that might make it a little bit difficult to qualify. But again, Ondra and Trayman, they can play very much like kingmakers here in terms of if they're playing against the other 2, how much IDS can they take off them, or even get a win, and that might just secure 2nd or 3rd place, depending on the situation. So it's all still to play for, even if there are some players who are looking at it and they know mathematically there's nobody who can't qualify, but it'll be quite difficult based upon the remaining games which are left. But as I said, every game matters. Every point of IDS will be important. Every win will be important. So nobody's out of it yet. I'm really happy we got to game week 3 and still, none of the group tables have been decided. And there's nobody who's guaranteed 1st place yet either, but as I said, from Group C and Group D's perspective, Edward and Wakazik are in a very strong position. They're pretty much there already. Wakazik will just be looking at Werecraft's results with interest, and Edward only needs 1 more win. Peter Wizard, again, he's got a little bit of a harder job to do, but 2 wins out of 4 based on his current form should be doable, but you never know. The others are going to be battling out so hard for the remaining positions. They might be able to get some wins against Peter Wizard. We'll have to see. And then Group A is the one at the moment where 1st place is the most in jeopardy. We don't know which of these 2 players. If Randiv can get a win against Captain Gyro in the rematch, then Randiv's in pole position. If Captain Gyro is able to win, then he's 2 wins ahead of Randiv. So then that will be secure. But we won't know that until game week 5 unless they play it in advance. So it's very possible we'll be here in game week 4. We're still the same situation with Randiv 1 win behind Gyro. And it'll all come down to that final game between them, so it'll be interesting to see. So anyway, I think that's what I want to say. There's just been fantastic stuff in this competition so far. The games have been insane. I haven't even looked yet at when the matches have been scheduled for this week coming up. Hopefully I'll be able to live stream or record as many as possible. It's just been fantastic. In the description of this video, you find a link to a playlist of all the games, all the live streams, and the normal recordings of matches. You can check them out as much as you can. Any comments or likes or just even viewing would just be very much appreciated. I've looked at my analytics recently, and ever since the start of the league, I know I'm recording more videos, so it's kind of normal. but the amount of engagement and just the views and the amount of watch time has just gone up. And it's like real watch time. It's not like the weird YouTube algorithm recommending my videos from some viral video or something. This is like genuine like subscribers watching the videos. I'm just really happy that everyone's enjoying it and coming back and watching all the content. It's just great. So thank you very much for that. Very quickly before we go, I had to show you the win rates, don't I? Hopefully there's no mistakes in this, but so let me just quickly do some magic with OBS. Are you ready? Who is the OP faction? Who's winning? The Hunters or Dracula? After I don't know how many matches. 51 matches, I think, so far. Da 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 da. Hey, it's the Hunters, but by one win. 26 Hunter wins. 26 Hunter wins. 25 Dracula wins. That's 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. It's quite interesting though, the groups are a bit skewed. You've got Group B and Group C where Hunters have got a majority of wins, but then you've got Group A and Group D completely cancelling it out. Very weird, it's just funny how it all works out. It'll then be cool how it transforms into the second place and the second stage, and then the final league. If you've got players who have come from Hunter win dominant groups or Dracula win dominant groups, like who will have the advantage in the second stage or in the final league? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see all the statistics when it all comes out. This is the first time we've done this like 3-stage system, so it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. But yeah, Hunters just have the edge, but it's one win in it. There's nothing to jump about. But yeah, it's very, very cool. The average influence value is very high, 8.43, so across all the games. Even here, look and see like Group A. I know Group A and Group D are the ones with majority Dracula wins, but look, 9.6 influence per game. Even then, the average Dracula HP is still low. So these games are really close. They're getting quite high influence, but then the HP, obviously if Dracula dies, that's always 0. But even then, if Dracula's winning, that's the HP is still very low though. Just shows how close everything is. So anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to bed, and I'll get this up, and you can watch this overnight. So thank you for watching, everybody. Apologies if I'm a little bit sleepy, but long week. It's gone midnight on Sunday night, and I need to go to bed and get ready for an early start tomorrow. But thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next episode. I don't know what game it will be, but it'll be at some point during the week anyway. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.